and we are with you. So welcome in. Um, just we're really excited about the election. That's what's happening right now. I need to get my sound settings together and mute the live on my computer. So sorry for the ladies in the studio because it's still making noise. I'm sorry about that. Hold on. Hold your horses. There we are. All right. So with that out of the way, how are you all today?
All is well.
Okay. Gita, you good?
Yeah, I'm wonderful. I ain't did nothing all day.
Not
You,
a
you
thing.
ain't cook or nothing?
I cooked yesterday. My husband decided he wanted to have
They love to say they husband,
gathering.
my husband.
Well, the man at home decided he wanted to have a gathering. So I
Okay.
cooked a lot of food
What you
yesterday.
cook yesterday? Where my plate?
I'm sorry.
You
And
do
why,
her eggs.
and why we didn't come to
I
the
did. I ate
gathering?
them
Like
all.
yeah.
Because it turned into it wasn't it turned into something else.
Was it for the game?
Yeah.
So let's talk about the game. I heard Alabama got beat
Ooh,
yesterday.
Yeah,
By
they got
1 point.
Okay. You just lost.
There, it's still lost. All of them lost
I don't
yesterday.
watch football, but they played horribly the whole game.
They did. They played horrible the last game
Uh-oh,
too.
sorry.
Yeah, my brother said that Miles was sorry this year. Alabama sorry this year. Somebody else he said was
Auburn
sorry
sorry
this
this
year.
year.
Alabama sorry this year. That's what he said. But hey, we are here. We're winning. It's November, and every November something is happening. Sometimes it is the election season. Sometimes it's no shave November, but it's always
Shave.
give thanks November. And we are just excited to be here tonight. We have special guests coming in all night for an election pep rally here in the Magic City. I know that everybody that we are associated with is registered to vote and active in the political process, right?
Right.
We sure about that? Because I know I got some people that I'm connected to that do not exercise the right to vote. I know this. I've accepted it for what it
I
is.
say you still accept them as
I'm-
they are.
I've accepted that, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to stop doing what I do and saying what I say. I'm going to continue to be straightforward about what my expectations are. But we know how people are about expectations. Chuck, you are absolutely right. Alabama State ain't never sorry. Good evening from Louisiana. What's up, Claire? Welcome in. So, yeah, I'm going to always say what I say and try to lead by example. And when there's an opportunity to vote, I'm going to get out and do so. But we've been doing this for years,
Yeah.
a decade and a half, trying to get people registered and involved in the political process. Do you think we've been successful?
Mm.
Damn.
Mm,
I feel like voting is a thing where people are going to do what they want to do, regardless of what you say to them or what type of influence you try to have on them. People already have their opinions about it.
In order to kick it with me, let me see a sticker current. I don't want an old beat up sticker on the back of your ID. I need to see a new one from today. Then we can be friends.
no, I don't feel that way.
No?
I don't feel that. I kind of like relate that to forcing people to go to church, right? And
Go to church or you will go to hell. That's what the
Yeah,
sign
That's
says
what
right.
the
in
sign
Montgomery.
say in
No,
Montgomery.
I ain't gonna
what?
do that. I'm not gonna condemn you if you don't vote, but I'm definitely gonna try to sell you on all the benefits of voting.
Okay.
Now, whether you do or you don't, that's a personal choice. However, where I will draw the line is if you opt not to vote,
Mhm.
you opt not to have an opinion.
Okay.
As it relates to me and the conversations that we
You
have.
say ought not to.
You opt.
You opt out.
Yeah, you opt out. You opt out of your opinion if you choose not to vote. And I get it. I know that some people are living in the world of, well, our vote doesn't matter. And I kind of understand the philosophy behind that because it sometimes can seem as though it does not. But it really does. Especially in this election because it's so important. It's extremely vital.
Mm-hmm. So knowing how
Yeah.
vital it is and what we're up against, the Senate races here in Alabama. We're in Alabama. Y'all know how I am about Alabama. Like, my folk from here, nobody decided. Well, I do have people that left. I didn't go with them, so I'm still here. my parents stayed, so yeah, I rep Alabama for that much of it, just because it's home. I know it, but I really feel a way about it. Chuck says we got to get black men more involved in the political process. Black men.
I think that kind of rides on the backs of us as black women. And now we shouldn't be here responsible for that.
I mean, but we are for everything when it
I
comes
mean,
to
yeah,
that.
we are. So we just got to own that little part. But I think that if
So does that excuse them?
no, it don't excuse them. There is no excuse. But I feel like black men they ride with us and they
Okay.
kind of ride with us real hard. So I think that if we show up in a force, and we kind of sell them on the benefits with force prior to, they'll show up.
Okay.
They just need somebody to hold their hand.
All right. So we holding your hand, holding you accountable as well. I'm more so holding you accountable. I've been hand holding a lot. The book is here. We'll talk about it. I don't want to hold no more hands. I want you to lead the way. I want to follow you to the poll, my black man. So Jacinta says the Democratic governor candidate just decided not to campaign. I guess why run if you're not gonna even try to get the vote? Well,
The
I can't-
Democratic?
I can't say that because we have a special guest tonight right here in the studio coming up in just a few minutes. So if that's who you're speaking about. We are going to hear from the Democratic candidate for governor here in the state of Alabama, who looks like us.
I like that.
Okay, looks like us. And we're going to see if she thinks like us and feels like us about different issues as well. Also, when people don't campaign, a lot of times it's because they don't have the resources. We don't support. Like we get
That's
those
what I was
envelopes in the
gonna
mail
say.
that say like give to this campaign or this text message will you support.
I can't
And-
stand them text messages.
Me either. But but we don't. We don't. Now, one thing about our other counterparts is that they're gonna support. They will send death threats. They will send they are going to go hard for what they believe in. Why don't we have that fire yet? What's wrong with us?
I don't think it's nothing wrong with us, but like I said, it's gonna go back to, I think we kind of live in a world where we feel like our voice is unheard.
Yeah.
I feel like we did go through a period where people prior to us fought real hard, right? And we still here.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand how people can feel like, if we've done that, if we rolled hard for what we believed in and it still made no change, then what am I gonna do? But if we stick to that mindset, then nothing will change. It kind of falls on us.
Well, I'm going to keep the phone lines open throughout the show. 994-8949 is the number. 994-8949 is the number. If you want to call in and be a part of the conversation at any time and I can get to you, I will. So 994-8949 is the number. Of course, you can always comment in the stream that you're watching. I'm not sure which one it is that I see tonight, but the comments that I see, just to let you know where I am. The last message that I see is from Miss Jacinta Elliott again saying, all right then, can't wait to hear from her. So I see her. I also see Mr. and Miss Dennis saying Yolanda Flowers has been campaigning. And that's the stream that I see. So if you're on that stream, feel free to comment. If you're on another one, call in 994-8949. So let's get straight to it. In studio right now, we have Democratic candidate for governor of the state of Alabama, Miss Yolanda Flowers. Welcome in.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. You heard us. I saw you looking to hear me.
Now, I was listening, I was
I saw
listening to
you.
you, young lady.
Yes, ma'am. So first of all, welcome to Vital.
Thank you.
You may have been here in other capacities, but it ain't this. It has not been Vital. So we appreciate you for coming in tonight and thank you for answering the invitation. Miss Angeline does an awesome job at reaching out to candidates and getting them in and getting a special guest. So we thank her for her job as well. It's all on us now. So we talking to the lady that looks like us that's running against the colonel. This is interesting. This is so
Mhm.
interesting. First question for me is where you from?
I'm from Birmingham.
Straight from Birmingham. Okay.
Right from here.
And you decided to go straight. I'm going for governor. Like I'm going straight
Why
to the top.
not? Why not?
So
They
tell us
have.
about your political experience.
I haven't had a whole lot, I guess, in the aspect of what we think political experience. And I think everyone who's in the political arena started off just like me. Okay. But probably more so in the sense that they had like parents before them.
Mhm,
Everyone has a beginning.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So you're going to have to start off like we all have to do. We have to do fundraisings. We have to network. We have to get out and campaign.
Mhm.
So, and start with the grassroots, so that's what I've been doing and still doing it. That's why I'm here. Still doing it.
Okay. So still going. When did you decide like I'm going to be the one to start? I didn't have parents or grandparents that ran or that were politically involved, but I'm going to be the one. When did that hit you?
Well, my parents, they were per se politically involved. They were
Involved,
part
okay.
of the NAACP, of course, back in that era, thinking about my parents and my grandparents. My grandparents were sharecroppers. My parents were children of sharecroppers. So African American Black or Negroes did not have it easy. Okay. So what they did then, they were rallied together. They were more of a unit, more so than you find today. So there's always been political blood.
Gotcha.
Okay, because of that.
Okay. So 2022, 2023, like we know what's happening around the rest of the world. Here in Alabama,
Mhm.
we are a few paces behind. What can you see for the future of Alabama if you are in that seat?
Well, what I see, and as I've been pushing, is hope. I see that with my plans and the policies that I want to bring forth, I see us coming together. I see the healing process.
Okay.
Thus, the theme of my campaign is
Okay.
"Let's reconstruct Alabama together."
Let's reconstruct
Let's
Alabama
reconstruct.
together.
Now, the word reconstruct means to create
Mm-hmm.
something that's never been. Okay, so if you go back to the history of Alabama, even when our Native Americans, our brothers and sisters, gave the name Alabama, which is a prophetic name. It means tribal town. A lot of people don't know that.
Mm-mm.
It also means vegetation gatherer.
Okay.
So when you think about the implications of that name, prophetic name, that means unity. Okay. So now the history behind Alabama is the Europeans come, they drive out our Native American brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Once they through the Trail of Tears, I'm sure some of you all have probably read about that and studied that in school. But through the Trail of Tears, okay, meaning there's a lot of killing, a lot of bloodshed,
Mm-hmm.
and then they place him on this little parcel of land called a reservation. Once they get them out of the place, they cross seas to get another people, which that's the reason why we're in this country now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Out of all of those slave ships, how they brought in so many of our people and to work the land, to till the land, to um, imprison, to enslave for their benefit. Okay, so because of all of this that has transpired, which
Mhm.
is a lot of death, and it caused a lot of anguish, a lot of anguish and harm and hurt. We have caused Alabama, well, not we, but our Europeans, okay,
Mhm.
have caused Alabama to be in disarray, have caused her to be like a feral woman, okay,
Okay.
beaten, raped. Some of us women today know what that is like.
Mhm.
Molested, mistreated, put out in the field, blood, just mistreated. So, with my policies, because that's how I see her, that's how God sees her, okay? Therefore, my policies will bring us together. It will begin the healing process with all of the issues that I have on my website,
Okay.
okay? These issues such as reconstruction of education,
Mhm.
reconstruction of our healthcare, of our prison systems, and our economy.
Which one is your forerunning effort to reconstruct? Which one is the biggest for you?
All of them are big.
All of them got the same
All of
weight,
them,
huh?
all of them. But I think about our rural counties that do not,
Mhm.
the counties that do not have hospitals in them. Okay, and several of them don't have a EMT or what you call emergency outlet to ambulance service to get people to a hospital. So because we don't have hospitals in these rural counties, people that live in these rural counties are having to travel to other counties. So you're talking about 50 miles for some,
Yeah.
maybe 25. Now, when you think about an emergency, by the time the ambulance come, and try to transport them, they're dead.
Yeah, if it's
Okay,
30 minutes, 20 minutes. Yeah.
they're dead. When all we need are hospitals reestablished back into our counties, so that we will not have to go through things such as that.
All right.
Okay, a young lady shared with me who lived in Pickens County,
Mm-hmm.
but now lives in Tuscaloosa. She was a nurse. She's a nurse. And she shared with me, she came straight to me. She said, Miss Flowers, you got to bring, once you get in, you got to bring the hospitals back. She said she was at an event at a game, a high school game. Two incidents. It was like a shooting. Then they called for the ambulance. Only the ambulance service, only one could come because that's all they had. Okay, they didn't have any more, so they had to go and solicit another county's help to get the next person to a hospital. So see, these things right here should not be. We have a lot of older people
Mm-hmm.
in these counties, and not only do we have need hospitals there. There's a lot of food deserts there. A
For
lot of
sure.
people may not understand what that means. It means no grocery
Right.
stores.
Right. We know about that
Okay.
right here.
Yeah, no grocery stores. But we do have grocery stores here, but there's no grocery stores in several of those counties.
Right. So the governor for the whole state of Alabama, what is the I guess the main job description for that role? What's the governor's job description?
Well, from my study, she can or he can issue an executive order.
Okay.
Okay, can do such things as that. An executive order can cover extreme hazardous things,
Right.
like
The storms and
storms and such things, such as that.
okay.
Um, and when I talked about the healthcare part, that's one of the things that I want to do is not just to bring in the hospitals, but to unban um, Alabama in terms of allowing abortions to take
Mhm.
place for
Mhm.
women's rights, okay, for women, reproductive rights.
Right.
Now, as it stands, that if you was to get pregnant and didn't decide you didn't want that baby, or you were raped and you couldn't have the baby, 10 or 12 years old,
Yeah.
uh, you should be able to have an abortion. For
Mhm.
one, a child cannot, her body is not
Mhm.
equipped if she's 10, 12, 13 years old, to have that baby. But if a woman decide if she was raped, she should be able to
To make that
have.
decision.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you for being
That's
just
right.
straightforward on that answer. In studio, do y'all have anything you want to share? Any questions you'd like to ask Joy? Jump into Robert, whoever. Anybody have any questions? Because when we think about this conversation, we know what we've seen from a governor. Like we know what we've seen from governors. I want to see something different, but what does that look like? Like what?
I have a question as it relates to you spoke about food deserts. So I know that there's some sort of plan. I haven't really followed it, but the tax that we have on food in Alabama, and I think that's real crazy, right? To tax food. But do you have a plan for that? If for some chance it doesn't pass, like what can be done to implement something where we can get the food tax erased, because we're one of the only states that still has a tax on food.
You're correct about that. It is sad. The story that they have behind that, they're using the food tax for education to help the education system. What I propose as governor is to bring the lottery. Okay, to bring the lottery. Has been up and placed on the ballot for over 20 years. Okay, and in each time our Republican parties, the members there, they shoot it down. They don't see the need in that. But when you have so many, you have more poor in our state than you have middle class or well off or rich. Okay, taking the tax off of food will help our poor class, working class citizens. Okay, which is predominantly Alabama. So bringing the lottery, that will help what you call subsidize. I'm going to use that for lack of better term that I could use, but it would be a subsidized what would work with the federal monies that we get in. Okay, that will take care of that since they want to put the tax toward education. The lottery, we can use that as what they call it, an education lottery. And I press this and I push it so because when I lived in Tennessee, I was able to go to school on the Hope Scholarship, which is
Okay.
funded through the lottery.
Mhm.
Did it take care of everything, all of my costs? No, it didn't, because I went on for higher education, to get more degrees. But for those first 2 years, you wouldn't have to worry about it. Okay. You would not have to worry about the cost of your education. And not only did the lottery do that, the lottery helped build hospitals. It helps with the roads, the infrastructure, Lowndes County is one of the counties in the Black Belt that, and Pickens and all these that are struggling. Wilcox County, which is out in Governor's County. Okay, that's where she's from. But you have bad water sources there. Okay, it is is contaminated.
Yeah.
You have sewage back up in people's yards because they don't have adequate sewage. So the money coming from the lottery will help the infrastructure take care of those, take out all those old pipes that have been there since for 2 centuries. She has been there forever. Take out those old pipes, put more pipes in, and also allow the people there to have septic tanks.
Okay.
Okay. So, I mean, the lottery can help in so many ways, so many ways.
I hear you being solution focused for not just one demographic. If you're going to be the governor, you're everybody's governor.
Everybody.
So when you speak about
Yeah.
healing, you are not just speaking to those who vote for you, you're speaking to those who won't.
That's right. You have to be.
And I think
You
that
have
makes
to
a
be.
difference in how you're received, even with political experience or not. I kind of want to ask you about the background when it comes to understanding the political processes, because that's important as well. On the job training is what most of us get, no matter what the job is that we do.
Absolutely.
But what does that look like coming into a mess like Alabama trying to run it? Like, how does that look for you? Well, day one in, Black lady, what's about to happen?
You know what? I don't know what's going to happen,
Okay.
but I know that something will. It's my job to be prepared. It's the best that I know. And I look at it like this, which helps me psychologically.
Mhm.
Is that, women have ran their households without men for centuries.
Yeah.
When men had to go out to war, the women had to pull up their big girl drawers and do what they had to do. They
Mhm.
had to farm. They had to tend to their sick, not only their children, but those in the community. They had to women are more community minded than men. I have to tell you that. We have had to learn to do a lot. And now it has been proven through the Feminist Act, the comment about where women, you have women that are auto mechanics, you have women that can roof, you have women that can build houses,
Yes, ma'am.
you have women that do construction work and welding and things, because we can. When God created woman and created man first and created woman, he told Adam, he said, the woman is your helpmeet. That does not mean that we are supposed to wait on the man. We are his equal.
Yeah.
Okay. We are his equal in authority and in all. So those in Montgomery, they may know a little bit more than me. That's because they've been at it a little bit longer. But there are things that I know that they don't know. Okay. Especially to those men.
Okay.
They can't do what a woman can do.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
They just can't.
Okay. 994-8949 is the phone number. Our gubernatorial candidate, Democratic candidate, is in the studio right here in Ansley on B94.9 WATV, talking about what's going to happen on Tuesday, what needs to happen on Tuesday, and just talking about getting out and vote. Yeah, we have it's a pep rally tonight, so I got some friends of mine that have stopped in that are going to really energize us on this election and give us some information and just really give us what's vital. So we're looking forward to that. But if you have questions or comments right now, the phone lines are open 994-8949. 994-8949 is the number. You can also comment in the comments, and I'll post those as well. Ed Dennis, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Plus, we going elsewhere to play the lottery anyway, so we might as well bring that money here. Speaking of the lottery, right now is super high. I sent a friend of mine some money over the line. I did. I was like, hey, since we got another chance, get me some tickets. Y'all know it's like a 1 in 2 billion chance that I might win, but I think it's worth a try.
I mean, why not?
I mean, so if I win, you got a ticket too, right? If I win, yeah. All right. So phone lines are open 994-8949. Let's go to the lines now. Caller, you're in with Vital. Gubernatorial candidate Yolanda Flowers is in the studio. What's up? Hello.
I love you, baby.
I love you too. All right. See,
Good lady.
see, I wanted to take the call and I thought you was about to be on topic. All right. 994-8949. See what I'm talking about?
Oh.
See what I'm saying? 994-8949. We're talking to our political candidate because we vote on Tuesday. I love all of you as well, but on Tuesday we vote. So I need that love to go to the polls and cast the vote. That's what we're doing right now. All right. Okay. Other questions, thoughts. You know what the current is doing, has done, has not done. What would you like to see from a future candidate? We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. We'll share a few more minutes with Ms. Flowers, and then we're going to turn our pep rally up a notch right here on B94.9 WATV, where the V stands for Vital on Sunday nights.
I have a question for you. If not now, when?
Hey, I can't find my phone.
You can find your what?
So young people, you 40, 35, 40, 45, 50, you all need to get out and vote.
Absolutely.
And
We
you're going to
need
need to
be
tell your
outside.
children that are 18 years old, heading on and on, getting older, you need to vote.
Somebody asked this one or asked us to speak about the whole jail situation. We know that KIV is for building prisons. Like, let's put up another prison. Like, let's put up a prison here. Let's put one up over here. We'll just do that. That would be the easiest way to handle all our problems to get more prisons.
Mhm.
How you feel?
I don't like that.
Okay.
You know it's not right.
I know.
We have been protesting at Montgomery. We've
Mhm.
been there for rallies, and because I've several of the incarcerated citizens have contacted me, shown me videos,
Mm-hmm.
have sent me stuff, things that have been going on. And when you see incarcerated loved ones just jumping on another brother, beating on them, and I understand the frustration
Oh,
of it
yeah,
all,
yeah.
being locked up, and you can't take it. But when you're beating on your own, I have a problem with that, and I have a problem with the correctional officers not doing anything.
Mm.
You're just there, and just it's just like you have bullies jumping on, and the teacher's not doing anything about it, and you're beating them and stripping them naked and knocking them out cold, and you still kicking them and punching them.
Mhm.
I don't like that. I have issues with our incarcerated loved ones being starved to death. I have
sure.
issues with that.
So is there policy that the governor could put in place for that, as opposed to just saying
could.
let's build more prisons? Like, is
She
there some like
could.
is that those executive orders that you spoke of?
What that wouldn't even have to be an executive order. I strongly believe.
Okay.
She just needs to get with her pardons and parole board and tell them, hey, you need to
These are
let
the
these people
expectations.
go.
Okay.
If they have done all they needed to do according to policies, according to the guidelines, when they have obeyed and nothing on their record, you need to let them go.
All right.
You need to send them into the rehabilitation services that are supposed to be in place, but they can't do it because why? Those areas that they're going for training, they're being used to house. But if she had a heart, to do things right, that's what she could do.
So while we're there talking about policy and the legal system and being penalized for things that, seems that you have a heart for healing and understanding that people do self-medicate, have mental health crises and issues, and some people just want to relax. So marijuana is a thing that is used widely and legal in a whole lot of states, but not in Alabama. What are your thoughts?
Marijuana is an herb. It's just an herb. It's just an herb like parsley, oregano, basil. You should be able to. I have a lot of issues.
Okay.
A lot of problems with the way men take things and always want to make a profit.
Okay.
This
If
is
they
a
can't profit from it,
natural
they want to
thing.
criminalize it.
There
Mhm.
you go. There you go. That's right. That's wrong. That's wrong. You're gonna just like they taking the water, bottle the water. Yes, we can make money off of this. I don't know when that came about. Or using air, we can charge people for air. Dirt, that's the big thing. Dirt, we walk on dirt all the time, but you want to bag it up, and I have issues. Like I said, I have issues. But marijuana, it is a herb. It's a herb that is used, has God planted it for us, for our healing. He said that he has given us according to scripture in Genesis, in the Garden of Eden. Oh, you can eat of all of these things, okay? But the only thing he told us not to
Not
do,
them forbidden ones over there.
one thing he told us not to do is take hold of the fruit on that forbidden
That one
tree,
right
right?
there.
The tree of
Okay.
knowledge of good and evil.
All right. So before you get out of here, tell us where to go to this website to see all of the things that you have in store.
My website is www.Yolanda for Governor, that's FOR, governor.org. My YouTube. Okay, well, okay. So I have somebody telling me.
Yeah, that's how we
But
have to do
anyway,
it.
that website will lead you to my email address,
Okay.
my phone number, my physical address, post office box, all the kind donation. But we do still need donations. All those 2 days, we still need money
Yeah.
because we have bills. Okay, have to pay the guy that or people that does our advertising. We have to take care of that.
Mhm.
So we are still asking for donations. We're still asking for these last days for someone who's willing to help us put out signs to hit these polling places. So come Tuesday morning, people will see my sign, Yolanda Flowers for Governor.
All right.
My YouTube, all social media, we're on that Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and all that. Yeah,
And it's the same handle, Yolanda Flowers for Governor.
it is.
Awesome.
Mhm.
All right. So if you are listening, you have any questions, you have any thoughts, any feelings, or anything that you want to share, you can still call in throughout the show, 994-8949, or go to the website, Yolanda Flowers for Governor. We thank you so much for
Thank
adding this
you.
stop onto your campaign
Thank
trail.
you.
Absolutely. I
Thank
mean,
you.
like, we have to support each other the ways that we can.
We do.
And Vital Votes is a platform that has been working diligently over the past almost 2 decades.
Well, good.
So
Praise
yeah,
God.
so we're not
Praise
gonna
God.
stop.
Yeah.
So as long as you don't stop, we won't stop. Can't
Don't
stop, won't stop. Hey, okay. So yeah. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank
We'll be
you.
praying for you and looking out on
Thank
Tuesday,
you.
watching the polls, watching the numbers. Give everybody like a final boost to get out and vote on Tuesday.
Listen, everybody, it is very, very important that we, especially us Black people, okay, and Democrats, we need to get out because our rights are contingent upon how we vote. Okay, we have 10 amendments. You need to study those amendments. Go online if you don't have the little booklet that Greater Birmingham Ministries have given out.
Always
Go
a good
on
resource.
there. They all have a summary of what each one of them means. So you all can have an informed choice. If you don't vote, you don't have a voice.
All right.
Okay.
Get out and vote. I'm going to go to the
Yes.
phone lines right now. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Miss Jada. We'll be checking out your website to find out more information about you and what you're planning to do. Caller, you're in with Vital. What's your question or comment? Oh, they left us. Okay, let's try it again. Caller, you're in with Vital. Question or comment?
Hey, Lady Wu and the crew.
Hello.
Thank you for taking my call. This is Angie on the east side of town here in Birmingham. I just want to thank Miss Flowers for having the courage and the boldness to even stand up and run. I don't think she realizes how much that means to the Black community. That we have someone out there who's concerned about us and what's happening to Black people here in this state, what has gone on forever, and it's time for a change. She is bold and she's strong. I don't know her personally, but I've watched her and I've looked at her platform, and I'm just so thankful that she wants to do something to help us here in this state. And Ms. Flowers, thank you and God bless you. We're with you and supporting you. I know you feel the voters' apathy out here in this state, but there are many of us who are with you, and we've been praying for you for your success. And thank you again so much for caring about what's happening, not just to us as Black people, but for the whole state. And for the poor counties as well. They need help. It doesn't make sense that there aren't hospitals where people live. It doesn't make sense that there aren't grocery stores where people live. And I know you care about it, and you're going to do something about it once you're in office. Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. So what a way to end that segment. Once again, Yolanda Flowers for Governor. Yolanda Flowers for Governor, and that'll lead you to all of our social media. Check it out before Tuesday so that you can be an informed voter. Don't just do it because we said it, but be an informed voter. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. The
God
pep
bless you.
rally. Yes, ma'am. It's a voting pep rally. We vote on Tuesday. In studio, Joy Travis, my homie from Alabama State University. I worked on her campaign. Also, Good People Vote is on the way in too to get this information going. We got a lot to talk about, a lot to learn, a lot to cover. And I think we have some experienced people. Joy, I saw my girl on the news. I was like, yo, on Sunday, can you come and educate?
Of course.
And she was like, yes. Can I bring some people with me? I'm like, yeah, pull up. Pull up, Joy. So we are here. We're about to get into this conversation. And I hope that you all got your pens and notebooks ready. So Joy, tell us a little bit about you, who you are, where you're from.
Okay, so first, thanks for letting me come on.
Absolutely.
It's so exciting to see you in action, Lady Wu. So I'm Joy Travis. I'm an attorney here in Birmingham. I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio,
Can't
but
tell.
of course, I am a proud Hornet. Go Alabama State. Got an undergraduate degree from there and a master's from Auburn and Montgomery, and I have a law degree from Birmingham School of Law. I'm before you today as the new vice chair for the Democratic Party. I am the vice chair for Minority Affairs, and my job is to make sure that we
Yes.
engage voters and we get everybody out to vote. So I was so excited to see your text, and I wanted to come on and just talk to you about what we got to do to make sure everybody turns out on Tuesday.
So Joy, you're the what now?
I'm the vice chair for Minority Affairs for the Jefferson County Democratic Party.
Okay, that's official. All right. So speaking about that apathy, like amongst our age group, what are you seeing?
Oh, we're not we're just not engaged. And it's not our age group's fault because I think that there's some accountability there on our political parties to do a little bit more. There's some accountability on our elected leaders a little bit more. But among our age group, we're just not engaged. I think it's hard to really find people that understand like how to find a place in politics. Because when you say politics, it's so negative, right? Everybody's like, "Oh, I hate politics," but politics is people. Politics is everywhere. Politics is when you get your hair done, when you get your nails done.
We got a politics.
Politics is everything you do. So I really want people to understand the connection and the nexus between politics, engagement, and how that really shapes and forms our communities.
All right. So that whole spiel about it not really being our fault that we're
Right.
not engaged.
Right.
But I kind of want to discuss that because I'm still trying to figure it out. If we're the ones that I guess we may be maybe 2 generations removed from those that actually marched over the bridge, those who actually fought, and those who actually had to count like gumballs in a jar and guess how many it was just to
Yes,
vote. Like we
it's
ain't that far
ridiculous.
removed.
Somebody died for you to
Yeah.
have the right to vote. And that's what I start with. Somebody died. But I think that sometimes, especially with our generation, people want to help, but they don't know what to do.
Okay.
And so that's why I say that there is some institutions, there are some things that have kind of failed us when we try to do that work, because it's great to have a passion for something. It's great to want to do something, but if it's misguided and you just out here fighting for the wrong thing, then I think that's kind of where we're failing our young people a little.
Okay. So let's go to this first. I saw that
Okay.
on Tuesday, you all will be in the polls.
Yes, Tuesday. We have a poll watcher program. A poll watcher is a representative from a political party that stays inside the polling location. Their job is to observe the polling location and make sure there are no irregularities and no one tries to intimidate or suppress any voter. They are also there to provide any assistance. Any voter can ask for help at the polling location.
Okay.
We have a program this year where we are going to be having poll watchers in every polling location. We are going to have a 1-800 number that we're giving out to anyone that may have a polling issue, a voting issue, or have a question about voting. But we are trying to make sure that it makes sense for everyone to cast their ballot and make sure no one has an issue in doing so.
Yeah.
So on election day, if you have any issues at the polls, we have a 1-800 number you can call. That 1-800 number is going to be 1-800-485-4767. Again, it's 1-800-485-4767. So our generation, we're some texters, right? Like that's what we do.
Just text me. Please stop calling.
So if people want to text, I got a solution for that. If you want to text and tell us about something that you experienced at the poll, you can text us at 205-365-1779. Again, that's 205-365-1779. Someone will be manning that phone both those numbers all day. We'll have a team of lawyers in our war room that will be able to take calls.
The war
complaints.
room.
The war room is going down in the war room.
Oh, snap. I like
Because
that.
they don't want to mess with us. So we're ready. We have lawyers, election protection specialists. We know what we need to do and how to get it done. So we have people ready to be able to take those calls so that if we have any issues, we'll be able to dispatch people to locations. We'll be able to troubleshoot and problem solve. But we're ready for anything that may come up because we want everyone to have an opportunity to vote. No one should be turned away. No one should have a barrier to vote. Again, somebody died for
Yeah.
us to have this right.
Oh, that's big work. So before we go to break, I want to hear from Good People Vote too, and then we're all going to jump in for the second hour and just have a full-fledged Let's Vote conversation, just about all the issues, all the questions, all that. We're going to do that, and the phone lines will be open throughout. 994-8949 849 is the number. 994-8949 is the number. Got a Facebook user saying we ready. Also, people posting the numbers and everything. Oh, we'll come back and talk about that too. Got a comment that just came in as well. Thank you, Miss Dennis, Miss or Mr. Dennis. I'm not sure, but thank you for posting the number for me. I appreciate that. And then we got a question from Bobby Jackson Jr. He says, what about these groups of white armed men coming to the polls? We'll talk about that too. But I see the comment above you says, we ready. That's all I hear that.
Well, we're ready too.
I hear right. I hear
We're ready
that.
too. We're ready. We're ready to go ahead and get it popping. We're ready to get voters out. We're ready to make sure nobody stands in the way for us to be able to say everybody cast that ballot. We need a high turnout on
Man,
Tuesday.
Come on. Good people vote. I'm good people. Good people vote. I've been rocking with Good People Vote now for 2 years. Has it been 2 years?
Yes.
Yeah. So Tyra is in the studio. Tyra, get in the mic and tell everybody what's up.
Hey y'all. Yes, this is Tyra from Good People Vote. I'm sure y'all have seen us all around Birmingham. But if you haven't, I'm here.
Yeah. So tell us about Good People Vote. Who are you? What do you do? Who are the good people that are voting? Like, tell us all about you.
Yeah, so I started this, like you said, in 2020. I just wanted to fill the void out there. I know a lot of people are like me, where you go to vote and you're in the parking lot, you're in your car looking up
Mhm.
candidates at the last minute.
Okay.
You don't know anything about them.
And they knocking on the window to give you these papers, and you be like, man, look.
Or you drive around, you see yard signs, but you don't know what they stand
right,
for.
right.
And so you just remember, oh snap, it's time to vote. And so you're just like, let me wing it. And so really when I started voting, I felt like I was in this like 55th episode of Law and Order. I never watched Law and Order before. And so it's kind of like, what
am I watching?
But I gotta do some. So yeah, I was just like, that needs to stop.
Okay. So that's how your organization started off of your own lack of education.
Yes.
I don't know a better way to be encouraged other than through your own story.
Right.
So you start the organization, and I watched it just take off immediately. What did you do?
Yeah, so it really started as a passion project. 2020 was like a weird year for everybody.
Yes.
And we saw all of this stuff going on. We saw voter intimidation. We saw all of these laws being passed to stop people from voting. And I was just like, if people come out during this pandemic in person to go vote, they deserve to be celebrated. And so, I had no money, nothing. But I just paced around in my apartment, and I was like, okay, let's start somewhere. Let's pick a place. And so from there, you came out, we had food trucks. We were at 6th Avenue Baptist. That was the polling spot. And everyone was just dancing, having a good time. We had volunteers out, people in roller skates giving people stuff for celebrating.
It was a big deal.
It was a big deal. And people were like, when is this going to happen again? And I was just like, let's see.
And so right now we see that the work is so important, that there are so many people who have that same feeling when they go to the polling place.
Yeah.
So for you and your vision and for your own experience, we appreciate you for starting Good People Vote. I got some swag over here. Where can other people rep when they go to the polls? Like,
hey, well, We just dropped the merch site. If you go to goodpeoplevote.org, there's a link to our merch site. Go and get you some.
Look, for those of you listening who's like, what's a merch site?
Merchandise.
You can buy merchandise on the website by going to where?
Goodpeoplevote.org.
Goodpeoplevote.org. All right, so goodpeoplevote.org. Good People Vote is in the building. Also, Joy Travis repping the Jefferson County Democrats is in the building. Going to give us a lot of information. So people are asking about these amendments, and that is definitely always a hot button topic. Like you go in and be like, yes, no, I don't know
What
where
is
that is. Right. The amendments, that's where you really blow it every time because you don't know. So we are going to have that conversation tonight for as much as we can. And I know that I have, like with Joy, when Joy Travis steps in the room on some political, I'll be like, cool, I'm good. Like, got it. So pay close attention. But then at the same time, read for yourselves. I know you all have the little pamphlet, the
Yeah.
foldable. Can they find that somewhere?
Yes, that's also on our website. They're called candidate scorecards. So basically, what we wanted to do this year is make it fun as engaging as
Yeah.
possible, because we really don't know as much as we can about candidates. Unfortunately, due to lack of funding or whatever, it's a lot of people that's starting this, and so we teamed up with Greater Birmingham Ministries.
Mm-hmm.
They have the election guide
Yes.
about the candidates, and we have the scorecards.
All right. So we come back. We're going to get into the scorecard. We're going to talk to Joy. We're going to talk to the ladies in studio, and to all of you who are talking to your screen. Now is your opportunity. 994-8949. It's the number. 994-8949. It's the number. Welcome into the final hour of the Abby Award-winning Vital Show on Sunday nights, where the V stands for Vital, and tonight the V stands for Vote. We'll be right back. Very good. Very good. All right, so how versatile on the very much on each, or just kind of like
I mean, I got the I text you. I have the voter guide.
okay.
So I mean,
Yeah, you said
Hey.
Brewers, yes. Of course, yeah.
Inslee. He said Fairfield, Mountain Brook too. We calling out everybody to get out of the bed. Take that hour that you are promised from your jobs. You can take a full hour. Your lunch, you get your lunch and an extra hour. Is that right? All right, so you get all of that time to vote. So use it. Tuesday, November 8th is the date. And we've been educating and just talking a lot about, we've been talking to candidates here at this station since they've been running. And now we are at the final hour and hoping that you all are going to get active and get involved in the process. So this is the pep rally. It's an informational pep rally to excite you and entice you to vote. So the course that I was teaching is motivation and emotion. And one way to motivate people is through incentives. And incentive motivation is like, you're going to get something for this. If you do right, I'm going to give you a t-shirt. If you, Miss Black, if you go and vote, guess what? You're going to get a gift card.
I like you, Cole.
Right? Miss Courtney, if you show up to the polls on Tuesday, you're going to get a $5 Visa gift card, $50 Visa gift card. 50. I'm going to go do that. But then you think about everything else that's so much bigger that's at stake when we vote, what we're voting for, the different amendments, what they will change, the people that we put in place, the policies that they'll put in place. Man, there's a lot more to incentivize this election as opposed to like the small incentives like a t-shirt or a button or a hat. Like, no, we really need change. We need political processes that reflect us. That's what we need. People in office that count us equal to them. That's what we need. And especially here in the great state of Alabama. All right. So looking at these amendments. Well, first of all, let's do a feelings check. How are you all feeling about the election, politics, period? Like, how are you feeling about where we are right now in 2022? Here we are. We are like middle-aged women at this point. we are.
Don't do that.
First of all, wait a minute. Yeah, because first of all, ma'am, you just had a birthday. I don't know what you over there going through.
And I just had a baby. Don't do that. Damn.
I knew that was going to work. I'm just saying, like, we are.
You
Yes, middle age.
You're middle.
Oh,
now moving
basically,
right along. We're talking about voting.
Yes, and so middle-aged people, if you're promised 70 years and you over 35, where are you? In the middle, smack dab in the middle.
In the middle of what?
Okay,
Life
Dana,
and death.
Dana, at different ages, I think what you're trying to
Clean
say
it up,
is-
Joy. I said what I said.
I think what Dana's trying to say is, at different ages,
called me
we have
Dana, she
different
know me.
priorities, and voting means different things to us at different ages.
Oh, that sounds great.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think, at Dana's age right now, things have shifted. I mean, Dana already has always known it's
You should write
important
her
to vote.
statements by her because she be
I
coming.
got her. I got her. She's voting for different things at this age than she did when she voted 5 years ago, 4 years
Yeah.
ago. So,
Yeah.
priorities shift sometimes, but at the end of the day, we still got to vote.
All right.
I mean, that's just a blanket statement. Whatever age you are, you have to go out and vote. But before you vote, make sure you check your registration.
That is so good. Thank you, Dr. Travis. Okay, so we have several amendments on this thing, and I see both of you have your tools pulled out, and this is good. Like when you come, like I've heard the war room tonight. We ready. I need to play some. Say Archie, we ready? I need to play that. The energy is going.
Yeah.
So here in the studio, it is. I want this same energy to flow out into the community and get people out to the polls, and I want them to be informed. So the First Amendment that we're looking at is what?
Anaya's
Tag team.
law.
So Anaya's law. And I know, so we've had a conversation about that, and somebody was like, no, because of the bond. And I'm like, no, let's
Well,
break this down.
Yeah,
Let's talk about
talk
this.
about that. First of all, it is tragic
Yeah.
what happened to Anaya Blanchard. And that will forever stay in everybody's hearts that was around when we were going through that.
Yeah.
So it's ridiculous, right, that we have to look at crafting legislation around such tragedies. But unfortunately, this amendment plays a little bit on the heartstrings of people.
Right. Just because of the
Just
name
because
of it.
the tragedy,
Yeah.
right? It is terrible what happened to her, but this amendment talks about basically giving the judge an opportunity to not allow bond in certain situations for certain charges.
Okay.
It sounds good in theory, but when you get down to the nuts and bolts of that, most people that will be charged with something and could be wrongfully charged with something are going
They
to be
won't get a
black,
bond.
Black people.
right? And so now here in Jefferson County, the majority of our judges are black,
Okay.
and they are Democrats, and that's, you know, it's great to have people that can relate to you and that have cultural competencies on the bench. But we have to think about what if that shifts, and 10 years from now, if we don't have competent judges that understand cultural differences or that there are disparities in the legal system, that may work against us. Okay, so
Gotcha.
this
So we're
amendment
forward thinking on it.
got to be forward thinking.
Okay.
This amendment right here basically says that a judge can deny bond based off certain charges, and that, you know, to me is a little bit of a violation of someone's due process.
Yep. Yep.
And so that's why people are saying vote no on that, because you hear Anaya's law and you're like, oh wait, we have to support that, but when you get to the root of it, it is not something that may be in the best interest of Black and brown people.
Gotcha. And it also doesn't mean that they can't go back and revise, right? Like I can go back and write it over or do whatever I need to do to reconstruct it and then bring it back.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the biggest things too, my goal in my role as, you know, a mentor, an attorney, working a volunteer, because what I do is volunteer for the party, but I think that it's up to us to try to have more trainings for people that want to run for office.
Yeah.
People that want to work on campaigns.
Yeah.
Running for office like state rep and state senate and city council. I mean, we need to train people to do that. They need to understand.
Yeah, they can't just have a heart.
You can't just jump out there,
Yeah.
right? And so that's why I said we talked a little bit earlier about the systems kind of failing our generation, and I think that's in one of the cases of that. So
Okay.
hopefully in the next 2 years, as we gear up for the presidential election, you'll see a lot more training, candidate training, campaign staff training, so people can understand better what their roles will be, so they get in these positions and they can start crafting legislation that speaks.
Understood. So the 2-year turn, is that when we could see that again? Could it be?
It could. I mean,
Okay.
it could come back. You talking about the amendment here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just in case they don't go over this time and they need that
It
time.
could.
Okay.
It could potentially. I mean, I think you said something about another amendment you were mentioning with
The Constitution and how we
yes.
see it all the time.
Yeah, you know, so
Yeah.
we could come back. You just never know. But
Okay.
but it's real important, like you're saying, to make sure we read the amendments and look at the root and the language of them.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What's the second one? So well, are we giving the yes or no? Or are we telling people to think about what makes sense for them?
You know, I think it's best. I hate to tell people how to vote.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
period, right? I mean, of course, my friends ask me every Tuesday on election day, Joy, who do I vote for, whatever. You know, of course, I say vote no on this amendment 1, but I want people to be educated about it.
Yeah. And I think what we just provided was some education because, like you said, somebody would say no. Why would I
Right.
say no to that? Well,
Right.
because it
As
could
an
come,
attorney,
yeah, like it could come
I
back
see how that
around.
can really go bad in our court systems, our jail systems. So
Yeah.
So when you that's another vital lesson when you talk about who actually writes these laws and these legislations. Like, who do you put in place to write them, to represent you on them, and does it make sense all across the board? So yeah, that's something else we'll talk about. But let's go to the Second Amendment. What we got, Tyra?
So the second one, and if you go to Good People Vote, go to our freebies page, and you will have a scorecard there, and you download it. Just make sure that if you have your voter guide ready, if you need help on the amendments, there is a decoded script of the amendments on there
Okay.
so that you can understand them more, and you can take time to, read about what they are. And then on there you can circle yes or no, and you could take
Boom,
this guide
take it with you, right?
Yeah.
All right. So the second one is what? What is that one?
So the second one is broadband internet infrastructure funding, which allows
yeah.
local governments to take funding provided for broadband internet infrastructure through the federal COVID-19 Relief Funding Act and redistribute those funds to any public or private entity of their choosing. So,
Okay. Like what? Like hold on, Tyra. I feel like everybody needs internet,
okay,
but who gonna
yes.
pay for it? Is that kind of what that is?
So this was the thing that we had talked about. So there are a lot of rural areas in Alabama who, would need this access to internet.
Mhm.
However, are you interested in them being supported by private entities?
Okay, like Alabama Power, Allegasco,
correct.
Dana Woodruff Enterprises.
Yes.
Okay,
So like
okay.
if you are interested, if that doesn't matter to you or any private entity, it doesn't have to be those, but if that is something that you don't mind, then go for it. But if you're one of the people where you're like, I want this by public entities, I don't want any private companies being able to, fund this or be a part of this,
Mhm.
then that's something to think about.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of people who don't really
Uh-huh.
like private entities.
Yeah, so basically I can get $50 million for broadband, but I could just decide I want to give a certain amount that's very minimal to that actual thing because you gave it to my company. I can earmark it how I want to, right?
Yeah. So the problem with this one though is that it says public or private
Or
companies,
private.
right?
So-
And so yes, we want everybody to have internet, but when
Mhm.
you're looking at someone being able to allocate resources to a private company, it might be a misuse of funds.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
There's nobody able to kind of check that.
Because y'all gave it to me, to my company, because that's what you decide.
Right.
You voted
so
on it.
ultimately, we're looking at a disproportionate allocation of public funds to private companies.
Oh, so no. Okay. All right.
You
Number
know,
3.
it depends on what you want. Like,
Yeah.
do you want? And again, these amendments can be rewritten.
Mm-hmm.
They can, depending on who is writing them, they can listen and restructure it.
Right.
But it is something to note that when we read these amendments before they were decoded, they were so confusing.
Yeah.
And you didn't know who, why, what. They sounded very internal. And so it's very, very, very important that you make sure you have discussions about them. You think about the repercussions, you think about what the benefits are, and you take time to really form your answer, because in the future something can switch up. And like when you sign a contract,
Yeah.
and you have to pay, and then you're like, oh wait, what?
I didn't read that part. I didn't understand that.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
okay.
signed it though.
So yeah, we're gonna go and ride on on that one. For broadband.
Also, it's really important to note that the Constitution is different from the amendments. And so if you have like your cheat sheet, make sure when you go vote that you see the difference. So you'll see amendment and you'll see one about ratifying the Constitution. Those are two different things. So Amendment 1 and Constitution,
That's different.
those are different.
Yeah. Okay.
The Constitution may be first on your ballot.
Okay.
So don't get it. Don't make a mistake and hit no for something you meant to say.
Yeah,
yes.
actually read through it.
Yes.
All right, what's number 3?
So number 3, notice to victim's family required for commutation or reprieve of death sentences.
So if you're gonna commute this person's sentence that killed my relative, I need to know. Or no, or not.
If the governor wants to reduce a death sentence or grant a temporary stay of execution, they must first make an effort to notify a family member of a victim of the prisoner in question. Failing to provide notice means that the Alabama Supreme Court can seek a new execution order.
What you think, Joy?
So basically, if the governor is going to commute a sentence or wipe out a sentence, he has to contact the family first.
Yeah. Because why are you doing it?
I mean, but even if he contacts the family, doesn't mean it's going to change his action.
True. But I would want to know.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
I would want to know, but then I think I would also be upset if it's not going to chill. Oh, man. Okay.
Again, I hate to tell people how to vote on that one.
Okay, so that's one that that's a heartstrings one as well.
I think it's a no for me.
Yeah, it's
a no for me.
it's been a no in my book, but again, I hate to tell people how to vote on that one.
I mean, but it's listening to it, like, does it make Gita? Because our faces say it. So what is your face saying right now about this one? It's a heavy no. It's a strong no, a heavy no. It's like it's a heavy no.
Yeah.
Do we get it? Do we really understand that one?
No.
That's why I said no.
That's a heavy no.
Okay.
If 2 + 2 don't make 4, it's definitely a no.
Yeah.
For me, anyway. Don't take my rules.
But I mean, for that one, like, you call me and tell me this person has killed somebody in my family, basically is what's being said. And the judge is saying that, hey, I'm going to let them off. And we just want to call and let you know. So now what you want me to do?
So basically, the attorney.
Okay.
So what it is that the governor will have the power to commute a sentence. Okay. So it's basically saying the governor will have to contact that family before making taking that action. So it's kind of like a courtesy, I guess, to the family.
Thanks.
But I guess people are saying no because you don't have to legislate that, right? You don't have to like put that in law to say that the governor has to call the family to do that. That's
And another question, is that already being done? Or is something like, is it already, I mean,
it's
like,
not a law.
it's not a law,
It's
but
not a
somebody
law.
may be
So if
courteous
somebody
enough.
is doing it, they're just doing it because they want to, not because they have to.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Wayne Rogers, he actually knows a lot about this specific amendment.
Mhm.
And we talked over it a few days ago, but of course, there was a lot. It was referencing an older sentence that I don't even think I was born yet when this happened, but
Okay.
he has a lot of information on that.
What?
So,
And his name is what?
Wayne Rogers. I have his
Hit us up.
contact.
994-8949. Wayne. Text him, tell him I'm calling him.
So,
All right.
So Wayne is our chair of the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
I can get Wayne on the phone. That's not that's not a problem.
Is he
but
up?
He's up.
Okay.
We talk about things a lot. I think that, Wayne also is an attorney and has been an attorney for about 20 or 30 years. So he
Okay.
has a pretty extensive background to understand what's happened, what hasn't happened.
Wayne, hit us up, Joy. Let's see if we can make that happen. Let's keep going though, because I do want to get through them at least just a little bit through each one. So, Joy, you got the next one too, or either you contact Wayne and Tyra, you give us
I
the
got
next
you.
amendment.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So, Amendment 4 prohibit changes to election conduct laws within 6 months of general elections. Y'all, this was the most internal amendment.
It sounds very internal because what? 6 months before my conduct has to be in order
So,
as a candidate.
here it is. This amendment says that during a general election year, any election laws should be passed at least 6 months before the election. So the thing with this one is there was something that happened with the availability of early voting.
Okay.
And so that law was made in the realm of 6 months. And so let's say we wanted to make this available where people are able to do early voting or anything to help us. It has to be done 6 months before.
Okay. Okay.
So that
mean-
means that if a law passed to help us with voting, then it wouldn't
apply.
apply.
Okay. Okay. What? This one? 994-8949 is the number. 994-8949 is the number. So basically on that one, what we saying? Like,
I think this was and Wayne Rogers, he also talked about this one too, but I think this one was the we called it the My Pillow amendment because this was about, I don't know if y'all know the My Pillow man.
yeah, the one that was with Trump, them real hard, and people stopped buying that pillow.
So basically, he's just gone around the country and tried to get this passed in different areas. So that's why it's called that's why Wayne calls it the My Pillow.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So
My Pillow amendment.
yeah, the My Pillow amendment, what we saying?
Definitely a no.
It's a no, because what did you talk about, Mr. Pillow Man? Okay.
And this is just my personal, like, this is what I'm gonna vote no on that.
Okay. I mean, hey, it's our education. Our teachers tell us stuff every day. We don't listen to them. So we're just trying to help. My teacher said, but I believe otherwise. Right. Strong enough for you. Okay. Next. After the pillow, where do we go?
So remove orphans' business from probate court
one.
jurisdiction amendment. So this
Mhm.
amendment removes the provision from the Alabama Constitution that gives county probate courts jurisdiction over orphans' business. County probate courts would continue to be responsible for adoptions, guardianships, and granting letters of testimony.
I don't even like the language of that one, but okay. Can we break that one down? Can
This
it
one was internal.
more layman's terms? Like,
This was very internal.
yeah,
Again.
like orphans' business.
Yeah, I'm confused. So what? Okay, so you're saying that the counties would be responsible for adoptions. What else are they being held responsible for?
So it says county probate courts would continue to be responsible for adoptions, guardianships, and granting letters of testimony. This amendment removes the provision from the Alabama Constitution that gives county probate courts jurisdiction over orphans' business.
I'm just trying to see what kind of business they got. I'm
And see, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like maybe financial. I don't know.
I
That's
don't know.
interesting.
So orphans business, basically, I mean, you're talking about different things. You're
Social
talking about a
security number.
guardianship. You know, if it's an orphan, there could be a guardian appointed to them.
Yeah.
If it's an orphan, they could be a delinquency, right? Because when you get in trouble and you're under 19, you're not in adult jail. It's criminal. It's a juvenile jail. So
Okay.
It's a delinquency. So things are different for young people when they go through the process. Like if they steal something, they go to family court.
Mm-hmm.
So this one looks like it's just trying to give probate courts jurisdiction over anything that may come before it. So
probate court instead of
family court,
okay.
right? So family court is district court, right? And so, like I said, if someone has a delinquency or dependency, if there's a issue where there's needed a guardian for a child, all those things go to family court, which is district court.
Okay.
Instead of
And so they're saying if it's an orphan, then it would stay in probate court.
okay. That makes sense.
Instead
Does
of having,
it?
because typically if you're doing like adoptions in probate court, guardianships in probate court, and then if there's something else that needs to be handled with a child, like a delinquency, it's going to go to family court.
Okay.
So you got two different courts basically governing a child.
I understand what she's saying. I don't understand why.
So does it just simplify the process so you don't have to go back
Yeah,
and
that's
forth?
what I said. I don't understand what she's saying, but
So we
I don't
have
know why
like
that's a law.
one speaker or one person that help, or
One jurisdiction governing.
yes, instead of multiple.
Yeah.
Simplifying.
Resident vital crew member said that
Why
one
we
is
gotta
dicey.
vote on that though?
And that's what I'm trying to hear. Like, who is it internally that has some dealings with the orphanage
It's
or
more
something?
just clarifying language.
Okay.
This one is more about, I think, clarifying language. I think honestly, it's already to a certain extent being done. I think this one just modernizes instead of us actually drafting a new constitution. A lot of the amendments try to clean up language.
As we should.
So I
Yeah.
think that's what the gist of this one.
All right. What's next? I think we're making our way on down the list. What else?
So number 6, authorize certain cities to use special property tax revenue to pay for capital improvements directly.
I'm with that. I
It
guess.
allows any cities that previously had a special property tax to pay for debts and capital improvements with said taxes. So yeah, this was definitely a yes for me.
Yeah. I know a couple of months ago, back in August, I did the show that we did here, the mayor show, and it's a whole capital projects department now with the city of Birmingham, and capital projects are like major projects. So you're
Big
looking at
Lots of money.
street paving,
Water drains, waterways,
all of that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Those big projects that we really need, that that we complain about. These are the things that would be funded. Now the tax part of it. What did it say about the tax? Where does this
This
money come
basically,
from?
the measure really only minimizes long-term debt for smaller municipalities that qualify. So this really is just making it easier for smaller municipalities. So it's going to minimize long-term debt for smaller municipalities that will qualify for some of those campaigns.
Okay.
So it makes it a little easier for them not to be caught underneath the debt cycle, I guess.
Okay. So
Less lawyer fees.
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Gotcha. So that one's a yes. So we're listening closely. Which one are we on now?
Now we're on 7.
See, we're making our way on down. Making our way down. Okay. Number
Walking
7.
fast.
All right, we're gonna harmonize. I had to do it.
I'm sorry.
They got something else going on. We don't know about it here. Okay.
You started it.
I
Yeah.
think they used to be in a singing group, Dana.
It was instinct.
Yes.
It was
Y'all know what to do. Okay. The amendments are fun. Okay. So number 7.
Okay, so local economic and industrial development bonds and financing amendment. So this would clarify that Amendment 772 in the Constitution applies to all counties. Amendment 7072 says counties can spend public money to support economic development projects.
Because whose money is that?
Right. Right.
Where did you get this public money from?
They be giving it out in public. I mean, I'm trying to see.
This one basically, I think the gist of this one is more to help rural counties and smaller municipalities to get the funding that they need to do what they need to do.
Joe broke that thing down. Like, look out, chill out. Chill out. You do. Okay, because we thought we didn't know whose money this was. Okay. All right. So number 8. Oh, okay, we didn't say yes or no for number 7.
Yes.
Yeah, like this gives opportunity to, counties who wouldn't be able to have opportunities. Now with whose funds?
Right.
Yeah, like
that
what?
was
See, we don't get into that
really-
now. See, now
I
y'all
was just-
adding details to
But
this.
see,
We don't
that's
know.
the
I said they
thing.
ain't say who funds it was.
That's
Nah, we
the
just
root.
want the rural counties to
public.
get the funds. Right.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Number 9.
So 8 and 9 are the same, but they're just basically in different counties. We have the Public Service Commission in Shelby County, which is 8, and then Lakeview, which is 9. And this allows for government oversight of private sewer companies and helps prevent those companies from exploiting their consumers and charging exorbitant rates in Shelby County and Jefferson/Tuscaloosa County, specifically Lakeview.
My
Who
first
gonna say
question is, look, my first question is, does anybody know what PSC is? Because that's the first thing we need to talk about.
PNC
The
Bank?
Public Service Commission.
Oh.
Yeah. The Public Service Commission is totally important. The Public Service Commission, basically, they are a commission that regulates utilities, regulates, and when we're talking about PSC, those are some very, very important positions that
Baby,
are elected.
let's talk about it.
I think it's every 6 years or 4 years, but the PSC has a lot of power, and people don't look like us on the PSC.
Oh, so we need to
We need-
ride out on that too.
Yeah. So when we're talking about that candidate training, we need to try to find people that want to run for a public service commission because those
Okay.
are very important positions to our community.
So why'd you make eye contact with me like that?
Because you the one.
I'm like,
You
baby,
the golden child.
Okay.
Yeah.
994-8949. This is the number 994-8949. It's the number. Hit us up and let us know what you think about these amendments. Are you learning tonight? I know that I am, and I'm liking the way that we're having the conversation in a real way. You get in there on Tuesday, get in the box, and be like, "What the hell is that?"
Right?
Right?
It's going to be in the confusing language. It's not going to be in the
It's not gonna be like this.
Yeah, so make sure you take your guide with you. You can take your guide with you. Don't let anybody tell you that
You
this is
can't
an
have a
ACT.
cheat sheet.
Yeah, this
You
is
can-
not
you can
a
have a
number
cheat
2
sheet.
pencil thing.
You can have a cheat sheet. You can ask for help at the polling location. So please understand you can do that. And this is something as well. If you don't want to circle in your ballot, there's a machine that you can stick a piece of paper in and you can vote on a actual machine inside your polling location. And see, a lot of people don't know that, but that is something that is there. It has Braille. It is there for voters that may be disabled. It has a hearing impaired option, but it's also for the average voter that wants to go in and does not want to circle in their ballot. So,
Yes.
of course, we want those to be reserved for those that are disabled.
Yeah.
They need them first as a priority, but usually that machine sits in a corner and no one touches it.
Because you think it's like a backup machine.
I guess so. I'm from Ohio, right? In Ohio, we use those machines to vote. We would get our little ballot, stick our ballot in the machine and vote on the screen. The ballot would come out and you pull it in another machine and that's how you cast your vote. So to my surprise, coming to Alabama and seeing I had to bubble in a ballot. So wait a minute, what?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
wait a minute.
you went 50 years back real
Right.
quick.
So-
So look, Joy, what's the number that people can call if they have questions or issues or concerns at the polling place?
Yes, if you have questions, issues, or concerns, they have 2 numbers for you. There's a 1-800 number, 1-800-485-4767. Again, that's 1-800-485-4767. You can text 205-365-1779. Again, it's 205-365-1779. That's our election protection hotline. It is our election protection hotline for Jefferson County Democratic Party, but anyone can use it because every vote counts.
All right.
Mm.
Let's make our way to the final one, number 10.
Number 10. So this is the amendment organization. If voters approve the 2022 Constitution, which is the first before the amendments, this amendment says that any new amendments will be properly organized in the revised document.
Okay.
So
All right. So that's about the whole Constitution, right? No. Yes.
This basically is
Any new amendment.
another
Anyone.
clarifying amendment. This
Okay.
amendment will keep it organized as to new amendments that are added.
It's already 1,000.
Yeah, there are.
Why you keep amending it?
Yeah.
Where is it? Because I want to go get it and flip through it one day.
Let me see these amendments.
Like, right? How will we even go through? How can we thumb through this stupid
Extensive document. Yeah.
Gosh. Okay. So the number 10 says that what should happen or what?
So, if voters approve the 2022 Constitution, and should we talk about the Constitution as well?
It's like long.
Yeah.
Oh no, like the recompiled Constitution ratification. So this is going to be on the-
Long.
Just
Oh.
it's just to organize it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But where is it? And what they got it in a file folder? Is it on floppy disk?
You know, it's Alabama, so it's
That's what I'm trying to
Windows
see.
95 computer that makes it
Like,
sounds like an airplane.
okay. Who is organizing all of these papers?
I mean, it's because you know it's paper.
Yes, and
It's
they
the
probably
old-
broke
it's the
off
old
and
lady at the library.
ink gone. I'm just trying to see because
Lord help
I
us.
want to know what I'm supposed to say about all that paper.
I mean, so the recompiled Constitution ratification question begins the process of reorganizing our state's constitution, removes racist language, rearranges into a proper order, delete repeated and remove provisions, consolidate provisions regarding economic development, and
baby.
organizes local amendments by county. But the biggest thing is for me, is to remove racist language.
Yes.
And this is the thing. I don't know if you probably looked on social media and they're like, slavery is still in the amendment.
Mm-hmm.
This is what they're referencing. So this is the Constitution that will be
Oh.
before the amendments.
I need a copy of it. I want to be on the 10. Like, I'm gonna have to take so much medicine to sit down
Yeah.
and flip through 10,000 sheets of paper to find racist language. Wasn't it in 1901 that it was written?
You know good and well.
1901. Do you know how long we'll be flipping?
Right.
Scrolling, but I'm with it. So we voting yes.
Yeah, it's indentured servitude is language is still in
It's
there.
still-
Wait.
yeah.
So, and if you think about the links of private prisons, and you think about and this is just my opinion, the Anaya's law.
Yeah.
It could be some links. This is just my conspiracy theories.
Mhm. I mean, look, it's fair to think as deep as you want because at the end of the day, the language that is used speaks. It's written to speak on us, even though we may not answer to those names or to those terms or ideas. Like it does impact who it impacts because it's still law, even though it's ridiculous. All right, so we're saying what to that one?
It's
That one
a,
is yes.
it's a yes for me.
It's a
just
yes,
kinda
so-
cleaning it up. We got one more though.
Oh, it's another one. Okay.
We got a countywide
Mhm.
amendment.
Okay.
Okay, this one is kind of important too. This one basically just talks about property taxes for
Mm.
individuals 65 and up. What this is that a person has to be 65 or up and live in their property for at least 5 years
Okay.
to get the senior property tax exemption.
Okay. So we say no, like they should just already be because they are age, it should just be okay, right?
I've heard both ways on this one. I think there is an issue with making someone have to stay somewhere 5 years because we know sometimes people have to move.
Yeah.
Things happen, people pass away, a husband dies and a wife has to move.
Mhm.
Well, if she doesn't stay there for 5 years, she can't get that exemption. Is that what you're saying?
Okay. Okay.
Right. So that 5-year lingo is kind of funky to me.
Okay. I can see that. Like if I'm here and I'm 65, I'm here and I'm 65 and I want my exemption.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. But say, say Dana, you live somewhere, like I said, with your husband
Mhm.
and you're 65 and your husband dies. And so your daughter says, hey, we're going to put you in one of my other properties over here.
Okay.
Okay. But
Okay.
you got to pay your own property tax.
Cool.
So you go down to try to get your exemption because you're 65 and they say, well, ma'am, you have to live there 5 years before you get that exemption.
Oh, then I'm throwing my cane. What's up? Like, no, I deserve that exemption because I'm 65.
Right. So I think the intent of this one was to kind of help with gentrification.
Yeah, I was
Right.
gonna ask what about gentrification?
Yeah.
That goes deep.
So that's what I'm saying. I mean, a lot of these amendments, that's why I say I hate to tell people how to vote, but we have to look at it the whole way, right? Because this is definitely helpful in places like Inslee, Northside,
Come on
right?
in.
Where gentrification is going crazy.
Mhm.
Is the property values are skyrocketing and it's pricing some of our older original residents out. But also on the flip side, put in a requirement that you have to be there 5 years. And most
Right.
times people have been in their homes for, their whole lives.
Yeah.
Right. but it's gonna catch some people up with that 5-year requirement.
For sure. Okay. Let's go to the phone lines right quick. Caller, you're in with Vital. What's your question, comment, suggestion, thought, feeling?
Hello, Joy. This is Wayne Rogers. How you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Hey, doing great, thanks. I just was wanted to say hello. I was just listening in and saying thanks for being on the radio tonight and and for leading our voter protection efforts on Tuesday for the Democratic Party.
For sure. So we've heard a lot about you tonight and some nicknames that you've given, some amendments, which make them easy for us to remember. But we want to go back to a few of them to
Sure.
3 and 4. You had some strong thoughts on 3 and 4. We want to hear those.
Yes. Okay. So, so Amendment 3, I can speak to very quickly. It's Amendment 3 just makes it easier to execute people, which I'm always against.
Okay.
So Amendment 3 really stretches back over 20 years, almost 25 years, to the very end of Fob James's last term as governor, when he actually gave clemency to a woman who was about to be executed, and he did it 3 hours before the end of his term. He knew he had
Wow.
been voted out, and he just decided to give this on his way out the door. And he did so because the jury had recommended life without parole to her and not the death penalty. That is now the law in Alabama. If a jury recommends life without parole, a judge cannot override and give a death sentence. But in those days, they could. That's what had happened. And Fob James gave clemency to her. This amendment harkens back to that day. There hasn't been anyone given clemency for the death penalty since then.
Okay.
And this amendment is really dealing with a problem that doesn't exist. Because in most cases, what the amendment says is that the Attorney General is required to give notice to the family. That the governor is required to give notice to the Attorney General and to the family of the victim before clemency is granted in a death penalty case.
Understood.
Well,
Okay.
You know, so the reason I'm recommending a no vote on this is anything that makes it easier to execute someone, I'm going to be against. And you know, and again, it's a problem that really doesn't exist today because judges can no longer override the recommendations of juries as they could back in the 90s. And if a jury recommends life without parole, that's what the person gets. So I think it's a solution in search of a problem, and I just don't think we should vote for it. So that's
Okay.
number 3.
That's very clear. Thank you.
Number 4, I am much more against number 4 though, mainly because it seems to me like it's the My Pillow guy amendment. It goes back to Pennsylvania in 2020, changing some election laws to make it easier for people to vote. And I mean, Alabama's voter suppression is about as high as it can get, but this would make it possibly even worse because let's say we have another situation, a pandemic in the future, and the Alabama legislature decides they need to make it a little easier for people to vote during a pandemic, or they just decide to make it easier to vote in general, which I wish they would.
Mhm.
But this law says you can't change any election laws within 6 months of an election. Well, our legislature doesn't meet within 6 months of an election anyway. They badly needed. In fact, Alabama Arise and other very progressive groups really wanted to have a special session in August and September of this year. And the legislature just said no because they had too much campaigning to do. So they did not meet within 6 months of this election. They're not ever going to meet within 6 months of an election. So it's really a useless amendment. And I, again, recommend a strong no vote on number 4.
Thank you.
So there
Okay.
you go. And I think I heard you talking about our local amendment there, which I'm very much in favor of, Joy. You know that.
Okay.
You've heard me talk about that one as well. It's really is an anti-gentrification amendment. It allows older people who have been in houses in Birmingham and Jefferson County for a long time, 5 years or more. They have to be 65 years and up, and their property tax is frozen. And I mean, folks who've seen property values in Titusville and Avondale and other parts of Birmingham over the last few years, they know even if someone has had their, let's say an elderly person has had their home paid off, they've had their mortgage paid off for 10 years.
Right.
Well, that's great. What if their property tax jumps from $1,000 a year to $3,000 a year because of gentrification, because their home value went up so much? We can have older people driven out of their homes in those areas by that sort of thing. So this amendment prevents that. It says, well, we're not, the valuation of the home might go up, but the property tax itself is frozen at the amount that it was when the person turned 65. I think it's a really good development. My good friend Neil Rafferty, legislator Neil Rafferty, he and I talked about it last week, because I didn't totally understand this amendment when I first read it. And when Neil explained it to me in these terms, I was like, yes, that's a very good thing. It's something we want to do, I think.
Okay, well, we thank you for explaining it to us too.
Yeah.
3 and 4. And just any other tips or any encouragement that you want to leave with our listeners tonight for Tuesday?
Oh, goodness. The main thing I just want to say to y'all is you got to get out and vote, y'all. You just got to get out and vote. We were really far behind 3 weeks ago when I went to the election commission meeting 3 weeks ago. We were so far behind in the number of absentee ballots that had been cast. I started to get worried. I was like, you know what? All these folks have been telling me, hey, Wayne, we're not getting, nobody's excited about voting. People don't want to vote. There's not any, there's not any candidates that are making people excited, blah, blah, blah. Well, I got worried that maybe they were right when I looked at the first stats on absentee balloting. Well, the next election commission meeting I went to, things got a whole lot better, because you know what? We, as the Jefferson County Democratic Party, started driving to get out the vote, because when I went to that meeting, I said, y'all, we got to do something. And everybody else said we got to do something. And a whole bunch of folks like you got on board. And listen, I'm just a person that tells people what to do. You're the one that does the work, Joy. And I appreciate you so much for doing that. And Dee Reed and Darius May and Josh Coleman and Megan Cheek and Sheila Smoot.
Don't get on
and
here
Taylor
calling names
Florence.
now.
I'm
Okay.
not going to be calling all these
All right,
names. I'm
now.
going to leave somebody out. I'm going to leave
That's
somebody
why
out.
we don't do that.
I'm
When the
sorry
last
for
time you
that.
been to Black Church?
Listen.
Okay.
But
I'm just
I
playing.
just want to say I'm much more excited now, because we are in good shape on our absentee ballots.
That's
And
what's
everybody
up.
knows Democrats typically get 75 to 80% of the absentee ballots
Yeah.
cast. And we're in great shape now. When the books closed on Friday, we were over 5,000 absentee
Woo.
ballots.
Okay.
In 2018, we got 6,200. I believe we will be hitting right on that same number in 2022. So don't tell me that folks aren't excited about voting. Folks are excited about voting. They want to vote for Will Boyd. They want to vote for Mark Petway. They want to vote for Stephanie Floyd. They want to vote for Lenise Washington. They want to vote for Rich Aruco. And I won't keep calling names there either, but y'all know who we need to vote for. Y'all know we need to keep these white supremacists. I'm just going to say it, especially in case of the sheriff's race. We need to keep a white supremacist out of the sheriff's office. It is really scary. The Republican who is running for sheriff is a scary, scary person.
Wow.
He is not who he claims to be. He's kind of come out of nowhere. The local Republicans aren't really supporting him that much because they think he's too far right for this county. I know he's too far right for this county, and we need to reelect Sheriff Mark Petway on Tuesday.
All right. Look, thank you so much. We'll be reaching out. Joy and Tyra are the plug. So we are plugged in now. You are now officially vital. So look at you. Yeah, for real. We're gonna take you to Black Church though. We'll talk to you later. All right. So that's really good. That's a lot of information that we needed to know, like the real. I like when people can call in and just be 100 about what's going on, who's in our face that we ain't never seen. I don't know you. I ain't never seen you. Some of us who I know. And then not just only voting for who we know, but who we know is doing the work, who we know is 100 about us, who cares about us, who knows the population and the demographic that they represent and that they work with. We talked to Lenise Washington, DA, last Sunday, and she said a lot of things that really resonated with me when it came to, I'm going to love on you, but I'm also going to do my job. And it's that type of love that we need. It's tough love. We need that, but we don't need somebody that's just 100% against us all the time. That ain't what we're looking for. Ladies, what else you got? What are you thinking about? What's on your mind?
I mean, we need to elect people too that are willing to help train and bring other people up, right? That's so important as well, because we can't get in these spots and die in them. I think that's one of of the concerns that we have sometimes with politicians. There should be apprenticeships and mentorships, and our elected officials to have people that identify that they work with in different generations. So I think that that's real important. But I just want to encourage more people to, um, if they have plans for your community, if there's something that they want to do, if they want to represent their community, don't be scared to try. Don't be afraid to try to run for office.
Right.
It's time to start asking for help because there are people out there like myself, like Miss Tyra. We're willing to help. We're willing to do what we need to do to get you the training and get you the connections and make you understand what a candidate looks like and how a candidate should walk and talk and what resources there are for a candidate.
Okay, I'm looking forward to hearing about that. When you start thinking about the presidential election that's coming up as well, and then just politics outside of Alabama, that's been really interesting to watch. Right over the line in Georgia, what's happening there? Another Black woman that is running, and that seems to be 100. Like when I say 100, I mean for as much as we know, right?
Right.
I'm not saying that I've talked to her in a personal conversation, but for everything in comparison to her opponent, like, come on now, Georgia. We got friends listening in New York. We got friends listening in. First person that checked in tonight was from, what did I say? Forgot. I don't see it. Oh, Louisiana.
Right.
So people all over listening, like wherever you are, there are some pivotal races that are like detrimental to all of us if they flip.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania, Georgia, was it Nevada? Maybe it's 4 of them, 4 states. These are battlegrounds, and we always battle here.
Right. I mean, and what happened in Georgia was a great thing, right? We got Democrats out in Georgia. People just turned out in the election. But we can do the same thing in Alabama. I think Alabama just needs a little enthusiasm.
Yeah,
we
that's
need a little motivation to get us there. Because there are people that care. There are people that really want to understand the issues and want to be better connected with how to make sure their communities get the resources that they need, and are pivotal and on the forefront of all the change that's going on in Birmingham and across the state.
Yeah. And I think like just for voters, if you are feeling like, my vote doesn't matter, or there are candidates that they're not giving me what I want it all. I use this analogy. If you can't find at least a candidate that has some of what you agree with, I call them a spare tire. You either, stay stuck on the side of the road, or you get your spare tire and get to where you need to go until you can do better.
Right.
So you not doing anything is definitely not going to get you where you need to go.
Right.
It's going to make it worse.
Yeah, it takes all of maybe 15 minutes at the most if you go in and like really read everything. Maybe longer than that if you read slow. But if you have listened tonight, like you got a heads up on what's on the ballot. It's not going to take a lot of time out of your day to go and be a part of the solution or to be a part of change or whatever it is you're working toward. It's not going to take all day to do that.
No.
It doesn't take a lot of energy to do that. Hop up, run in, get it done, get your sticker, post it so I can see it, so I can decide I'm going to still talk to you or not. And then
take
come
somebody
out
with you, tell somebody to go.
Right.
Yeah,
If you and your neighbor, y'all going to the same place most likely. So unless they got a license somewhere else.
They still vote at their mom's house.
Okay.
But
It's
it's
okay.
okay.
You're still
It's okay.
You're bubbling in circles.
Right.
Yeah, go bubble the
That's all you're
circle.
doing.
We just want
That's
you to
the
vote.
bare minimum.
Yeah. Again, here we go, Dana. Somebody died.
Somebody died.
for you to
Somebody
bubble
died.
in circles.
I need a shirt that says
Somebody died. Right. You can do that, or you can get the Good People Vote shirt. At where?
Goodpeoplevote.org.
Goodpeoplevote.org.
And hashtag Good People Vote when you go out, and just hashtag vote. If you did, because you will feel so accomplished when you go out of there. I don't know, like when you walk out of there, it just feels like, I did it.
Yeah, like I'm a part of the solution. Something else that happened today, I want to drop on you really quickly, where you can go to another website and get some information. The book, well, you can't get yours yet, but you can place your pre-order at watchwoodwork.com. The author's copies are in, and I am going to flip through. Yes, Joy, it's right here. It's right here.
You're an author.
The author's copy. So, if you want to know what the method is to the madness, that's kind of like your cheat code right there. It'll be available to people over the holidays. You can sit around the campfire and read with your families. Why Woo is Woo. And in the book, my name is Sonia. So you'll find out what all that's about. Get the book. Fun Girls Don't Have Feelings, something like love stories. everywhere really soon. Really soon. Really soon. All right, Tuesday is your time to vote. Get out, make a difference. Be vital. Just be vital. Be vital every day, but be vital Tuesday for sure.
Yes, call us if you have any issues at the polls. If you need a ride, we can text you a number so you can get a ride to the polls.
Okay.
1-800-485-4767 or 205-365-1779. One more time, 1-800-485-4767 or 205-365-1779.
Ladies, don't let this be the last time y'all join us. I like when we have other ladies in studio. It's hard to find good women to do the show. Now, I'm not saying that aren't good women in the community. There are, but like Radio Ready, y'all came in here ready with your information. I really
stay
appreciate
ready.
that. Okay. Okay. I need y'all. We got Trump is gonna be president again. So before we get to that, I really want you all to come in and enjoy. I said it last week and they didn't like that.
Well, let's
you
just
don't
stay
like it, go vote.
optimistic. That's why we're gonna get some people so we can get them trained, so we can get some campaign workers trained.
Okay.
It's gonna let's just stay optimistic, Dana. I'm sorry, Lady. Let's stay
Okay.
optimistic.
All right, I'm just saying what I see right now. So if y'all don't get out Tuesday, Trump is gonna be president again. I'm just saying.
I mean, there are people that are very, 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 very excited to go vote.
Yes. 18-year-olds, if you're tuned in, I can't wait to see you at the polls.
Yes.
I remember my first time
Share a
voting.
picture.
Yes, that would be good. All right, the night is young. Are we getting out in these streets, ladies?
Uh-oh.
I gotta go work.
Okay, here we go. All right, well, tomorrow's upon us, and then it's Tuesday, the big day. You all be empowered to vote,
Tuesday
be vital.
is the full moon and lunar eclipse, so
Uh-oh.
the moon will be red. It's
I
the
heard
last
about
one until
that, too.
2025. Yup. Don't owe me, girl. You better get out there and manifest. Y'all better manifest the vote on
Yup.
Tuesday, November 8th.
Manifest a vote.
Manifest your vote.
I like that tag. Manifest and vote.
You know everybody like to manifest.
I ain't
these
lying. They
days
say they do, right?
on
So,
their journeys.
bless.
I'm sorry. It's the
They are
full-
on a political journey. They want to see things different.
I'm just talking about them other people. I got a problem. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, enjoy the rest of your Sunday night. I'll be in tomorrow for Chris Coleman with the Think Tank. We have several candidates coming on tomorrow. Please tune in and get more energized. We're going to do as much energizing and pepping as we can right here on V94.9 WATV. Where during the week it stands for variety, but during this week it's going to stand for vote. So catch me tomorrow 3 p.m. till 6 right here on the V. Y'all have a blessed night and be vital.
Thank you so much, Dana. I was about to start clapping in the mic.
Okay, so when is tomorrow?
Right?
This. Why is the print like this?
It's kind of blurry.
Yeah, why is it like that?